In this video, we're going to talk about the Unit 7 Quiz 1 review. So hopefully you are following along as I'm going through this, so all your questions will be answered. All right, the first question we have is, it says create an adjacency matrix for the graph. Now you guys might be like, I don't really know what he's going for with this. So let's skip to a question that you're used to. So on the back, this is an adjacency matrix that is already filled out, and what we're going to do is that we are going to take this adjacency matrix and we are going to convert it to the actual graph. Now, if you remember from when we were going over this, every row tells you how things are going to be drawn, okay? So every row is going to tell you. So like, for example, if you notice, the first thing that we're looking at is A to A. Now, an A to A is a loop situation, which is this right here, where it's leaving A and it's coming back into A. Next, it's going to be A, B, which is 3. And so I'm going to draw 3 straight edges going to B. And then you have A to C, which is 2. So right here, right there, and that's it. And then you move to B. Now notice there's a couple things about this. Notice this right here, A, B, there's already 3 already drawn. We already drew that, so we're going to skip that. Oh, there's a B to B situation, loop, all right? And then what we have, we have a B to D situation. So B to D, which is right here, and that's it. So now we're going to move on. Now remember, there's stuff that you're going to skip. So like, for example, this C to A situation, there's a 2, but we already have 2 drawn, so we're going to skip that one. Oh, there's another loop, C to C. All right, and that's it. So let's move on to D here. All right, D to B. Oh, that's already been drawn, so that's going to be a skip. Oop, let me do that. So that's going to be a skip right there, and then we're done. And so this is going to drive me crazy when we move down, and then E is connected to nothing. All right, so this is our graph here. Okay, now with that being said, let's go ahead and answer these 2 questions. So is this graph an example of a connected graph? The answer is no. It's not. It's not a connected graph because if you notice, E here is not connected to anything. Okay, now if we were to do this, now of course I'm doing this just for example's sake, then you could say E is connected to D, which means that would be a yes. But because that's not the case, then that's a no. And then is this a complete graph? Well, if it's not a connected graph, it's not going to be a complete graph. So the answer would be no. All right. So with that being said, let's go back to page, or the first page here. So now what we're going to do is our graph is already drawn. And then we are going to take our graph here and we're going to go back to our matrix. All right. And so the way we do that is by just starting off with a vertex. So let's say our very top row, that is A. Okay. So let's look at A. All right. So what is A connected to? A is connected to B with 1. There we go. And let's see, A is connected to C. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. You're probably saying, Coach Ward, you're doing it wrong. You're right. There's no loops. All right. So A is not connected to itself. So A is connected to B. A is connected to C. A is not connected to D, 0. A is connected to E. And A is connected to F. There we go. All right. Now we're on B. So let's see, B is connected to A. It is connected to C. I don't know why I keep on doing that. That's a 0. It's not connected to itself. There's no loops here. All right, it is connected to C. There we go. It is connected to D by 1. Let's see, it's not connected to E, and it is connected to F. All right, so let's move to C here. So C, let's see, it's connected to A, yes. It's connected to B, yes, but it's not connected to itself. Hey, I got that right the first time. It's connected to D, it's connected to E, and let's see, and it's connected, nope, not connected to F. There we go. As you can tell, anything that's not connected has a 0. So, all right, now we're on D here. Let's see, D is not connected to A. Let's see, what else? D is connected to B. It's connected to C. There's no loop for D. it's connected to E, and it's connected to F. All right, almost done. I think it takes longer to explain it than it does anything else. So let's see if I can pick this circle up. There it goes. All right, so now E is connected to A. It is not connected to B. It is connected to C. It's connected to D. There's no loop, and it is connected to F. And finally, F. All right, so there's an edge connecting that, A, there's connecting B, yes, not C, connecting D, connected E, and it's not a loop. So there you go. That's how you do it. All right, find the degree of each vertex. Remember, the degree of each vertex represents how many times a vertex is being connected to an edge. All right, so looking at A here, A is being connected here, here, here. This black line, this blue, there you go. Remember, a loop counts as 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A is 6. AC, let's see, C is connected here, connected there, connected there. That is 4 times for C. And then B is 2 times. There you go. All right, create the graph from the tables. All right, vertices, I already drew the vertices. Now all we're doing is just drawing the edges. So starting with AB, there we go, starting with BC, CA, let's see, CD, AD, and then we have a CC situation. All right, so that's a loop. So a CC is a loop. So leaving C, coming back into C. And so let's answer some questions here. Is this a connected graph? Yes, it is, because everything's connected one way, shape, or form. There's nothing floating. Is this graph complete? The answer is no. The reason why it's not complete is that all the vertices are not adjacent or not touching each other. So the only one that isn't touching, the only pair is BD. If this edge was drawn, then yes, you could say it's complete, but it's not, so it's not adjacent. All right, find the degree of each vertex. Same question as 1, 2 ago. Let's see. Vertex 1 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for 2. 3, 1, 2, 3. 4 has a vertex of 3, or degree 3, and then 5, 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, so find the ESTs. Now remember, for the ESTs, you're always looking behind you. So let's say A, B, and C, they'll all have a EST of 0. If you look at D, D has 2 arrows going to it. B will get the D in 5 minutes, but A will get the D in 10 minutes. So obviously, we're always going to take the largest number. All right, so B to E, E has only 1 arrow. Those are easy. Oh, look at G, it has 3 arrows. All right, so let's see. C to G, that's 9. E to G, that's a total of 11. And then D to G, that's a total of 28. So you should know by now you're always taking the longest route, the longest person, because that's going to be it. All right, F's going to be it with 28. And then the finish has 2 arrows. Let's see, that's 36, or that's 30. Let's see. It's got to be 36. Now, the one thing that we haven't necessarily highlighted a little bit, this 36 right here is the minimum project time. Okay, just kind of keep that in mind. You're not changing anything mathematically. It's just, there you go. All right, so the critical path, that's when you're highlighting. And remember, you base your highlights off of the EST. So we're basing everything off of the EST. And that is how we got the EST. So for example, A, B, and C all got zeros because it came from start. So my critical path all of a sudden just branched 3 ways. All right. So D here became 10 because you went through A. All right. E, which is right here, became 5 because it went through B. Now, if you notice G here, G became 28 because it came through D. So notice that these 2 here just got terminated. All right. So obviously that's not going to be our critical path. Let's see. F, which is right here, right there, through D, and then finish became 36. There we go. So you would say, now guys, please make sure you do this correctly, because I'm going to mark so many people off from this, and that is, you would say that your critical path is with start. You always start with start. Let's see, that is A, where else we go? D, F, then finish. If you don't put start and finish in there, I will mark you off. So keep that in mind. All right, moving on. All right, same question basically. Just in fact, okay, they look very similar. I was almost thought I was saying double here. All right, so let's go ahead and do our ESTs. So A0, C0, E0. B becomes 10 because through A, well, let's see, C can get the D in 7 minutes. A can get the D in 10 minutes. I always use minutes. It's just easier to say. We're going to take 10. F is easy because there's just one arrow going to it. Oh, G's got 3 arrows. So let's see. B to G, that's 14. D to G is 16. Or F to G is 14. Well, even though 14s are the same, 16 is still better. And then the minimal project time is 22. So the minimal project time is 22. All right. So let's go ahead and highlight and do our critical paths. So again, 0, 0, 0. All right, B right here became 10 because it came through A. D became 10 because it came through A. F became 6 because it went through E. Let's see. Oh, G here. Let's see. How did that become? Oh, yeah, that way. And then lastly, all the way to finish. So on my test, I'm going to say my critical path is start, A, D, G, finish. Again, make sure you put your start, make sure you put your finish. A lot of folks mess up on that. And I lose a lot of ink marking because of that. All right, so I got to take this graph, plug it into that guy. All right, so let me zoom out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Might be a little too much. All right, that may work. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so remember the time. This is where a lot of folks screw up, okay? And that is make sure you understand that the time represents how long it takes to do something. The EST represents when it can start, okay? So when I ask you for the time, that means what is the number on the arrow, okay? So like on the time for A, well, that's a 3 because it's on 3, 0. B is 5. C is 10. D is 4. E is 1. Let's see. F is 8 and G is 7. 8, G is 7. And I believe that's it. Okay. Now, next, the prerequisite task, and that is what's pointing to it. All right. Pointing to it. All right. That is prerequisite task. So, like, for example, A here. What's pointing to A? Well, that's the start. Well, we put none because that's another way of saying prerequisite task. But look at B here. What's pointing to B? Well, that's A. A is pointing to B. All right. So you're always looking behind here. Notice C. A is pointing to C. A is pointing to D. Those are prerequisite tasks. All right, let's see what's next. Is E. Well, let's see. E's right there, and the one thing pointing to E is B. All right, that's easy. All right, let's see. F. Oh, man, we got 2 things pointing to F. Let's see. B is pointing to F, and D is pointing to F. So I got to write both. B, D. And let's see. G. Oh, man, look, G's got 3 arrows pointing to it. Let's see. That is E, C, F. All right. So 3 things pointing to it. So C, E, F. All right. Now let's clean this up because I got to do the EST here. Now the EST is just like we did 2 questions ago. All right. So A will start at 0. B will start at 3. C will start at 3. D will start at 3. All right. Let's see. E's easy. There's only 1 arrow to it. That's an 8. Oh, F's got 2 lines to it. Let's see. B to F would be 8, but D to F would be 7. We got to take the 8, the larger number. G's got 3 arrows. Let's see. E to G, that's a total of 9. C to G is a total of 13. F to G is a total of 16. There we go. And then lastly, the finish will be 23. All right, so I'm going to put all these numbers on the EST column. So the start really has no EST, so there's no reason to put that. A is 0, B, C, and D are 3. Let's see, E is 8. Let's see, F is also 8. G is 16. And then lastly, the minimum project time is 23. And we have to do critical paths again. All right, so let me get my highlighter. So start there, B, C. You should be fast forwarding the video right now because how many times you have to do this. That became 8F. There we go. G, and then finish. So I'm going to go ahead and just write my critical path right here because I don't think I can fit it all on the screen. Again, beginning with start, A, B, F, G, finish. All right. And for anybody who's OCD, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right there. There you go. Just so you could say I put it on the blank here. All right, next one, use the table. All right, so I got kind of creative here. And I got creative because I went ahead and drew the arrows, but you have got to fill in the blanks. All right, so just kind of, again, get a little creative here. All right, so if you notice, the arrows are already drawn. All we got to do is put in where all of our letters would be. So what we have here starting off, we have A, which has a prerequisite of none, B, prerequisite of none. So let's go ahead and start filling stuff out. So we know that anything with a none here, none, none. Let's try that again. We know that anything with a none is going to be pointing from the start. So I always like to put things alphabetically in the sense of the letter that comes first goes on top. So A comes first, then B. All right. And then let's see, we're on C. Hey, look, prerequisite for C is A. We'll put that right there because that's arrow. There you go. D, notice that A and B is pointing to D. A and B, so A and B is pointing. That's got to be D because that's the only place where A and B is pointing to. All right, so let's see. Next is B or E. Let's see. E is pointing to B. All right, so that's the only thing pointing. So I'm going to go that there. Notice how everything like A, B, C, D, E. See, everything's kind of going in order. All right, let's see. F, prerequisite is CD. All right, so CD, the only thing is pointing is this space. That's got to be F. All right, and let's see, BE, that's G. Let's see, BE. All right, so the only thing that B is pointing to is this area here. That's got to be G. And then by process elimination, that's got to be H. Okay, so now that we've got everything, let's put all our numbers on there. All right, so again, start is always going to have a 0, so I don't need to worry about that there. A has a time of 5, 5, 5. Let's see, B has a time of 7. Oh, there's 3 arrows for B. 7, 7, 7. They all get 7. C is 10. There's 1 arrow here. D is 4. That's 4. That's 4. Let's see. G has an E, or actually F has 15. G has 20. Big time for a little arrow, but we'll go with it. That's a 6. And then it wants, what is that? The EST yet again. All right. So start 0, B 0. Let's see. C only has 1 arrow going to it, so that's a 5. D has 2 arrows going to it. It's either be a 5 or 7. It will be a 7. Let's see. E will be a 7. Let's see. G has 2 arrows going to it. B can get to G in 7 minutes, but E can get to G, and I didn't even put E's time on there. Let's see. E's time was 8. You might have picked up on that. I did not. So E can get there in 15 minutes. So obviously 15 is greater than 7, and we're going to go with that. All right, let's see. F has 2 arrows to it. So C can get to F in 15. D can get to F in 11. So obviously 15 is going to win. All right. So H has 2 arrows. D can get to H in 11, or G can get to H in 35. it's going to be 35. Lastly, for the finish, F can get to the finish in 30. H can get the finish in 41. 41 will win. So let's go ahead and throw our numbers on there. So A, B, C. Okay, let's see. Remember, EST start doesn't have one. 0, 0. C is 5. Let's see. Vertex D is 7. And I can do it now. All right, so E is 7. Let's see. F is 15. G is 15. And then H is 35. And the minimum project time is 41. There we go. All right, create a complete, remember, complete means everything is touching each other. So that means A is touching B, A is touching C, A is touching D, like so. B is touching C, B is touching D, B is already touching A, we drew it. And then C is touching D. There we go. So from here, we're just going to answer questions. So first off, how many edges did you use? Well, that just means how many lines did you use? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 in the middle. That's a total of 6. How many degrees does each vertex have? Well, let's see. If you notice, each vertex has 3 degrees because 3 edges are touching it. So that's a grand total of 12. How many vertices did the graph have? Well, that's easy. That's 4 points. How many total degrees? Well, this is where a lot of folks screw up. We have 4 vertices. Each vertex has a degree of 3. So that means how many total did we have? We have a total of 12. There we go. Now we already did that. All right, so use the complete. All right, so this question, literally like the last question. All right, so this is a complete K5 because there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many edges did you have? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe that's 9. All right. 4 in the center. Let's see. Yeah, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I believe that's right. How many degrees does each vertex have? Let's see. This has a degree of 4. This has a degree of 4. That has a degree of 4. This one has a degree of 4. That one has a degree of 4. Altogether, 20. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong. Let's put that there because that's the answer to that question. Degree of 4. How many vertices did it have? 5. At 5 dots. There we go. Okay. This guy here, we're going to create a whole bunch of stuff. Now, hey, look at this. There's a story behind this one. Remember I told you there's some stories. Sometimes I give them to you, sometimes I don't. Hank is supervisor at BCF delivery company. The charts below represent a routine. Create a task diagraph. All right, so we are going to create a diagraph. So first off, let's go ahead and read it. We have A. Notice that A, B, and C all have a prerequisite task of nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. So I'm just going to put A here, B there, and then C will be right there. Remember, the best way to do things is to always start high with A, B, kind of go in order, A, B, C. All right, so now we're at D here. The prerequisite task is A, B. All right, so I'm just going to put like D kind of right here because it's always kind of going to the right. And I just noticed that those are not arrows. Those need to be arrows. My fault. Let me pause the video real quick and put arrows. There you go. My, what do you call it? My straight line tool sometimes defaults to a straight line, then an arrow. All right, so let's see. E, the prerequisite is C. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I go straight with my E here with an arrow. There we go. All right, so let's see. F, the prerequisite is E. All right, so I hope I don't run out of room, so I'm just going to kind of just make a shorter arrow, which I should have with E, but I didn't. So that's F. All right, let's see. Next is G, and that's F. All right, so again with the arrow, F, G, I hope I don't run out of room. All right, and then let's see, H here is D and G, so I'm just going to put H right here. D and G, there's O. And then let's see, I is H. All right, so got to put a lot smaller arrow. Space is a problem now. I. And then another small little arrow because this is finish. Fin. Just barely. All right, so there's my task. I'm going to go ahead and just put in the times here. So I'm going to do this in yellow, or not yellow, but red, just to show up a little more. A has 60, B has 60, C has 60, D has 300, E has 135, and these are minutes, is FYI. Let's see, F is 40, G is another 135, H is 20, I is 10. All right, there we go. So I believe I'm going to need a dual page of this. Let's see, dual page, there we go, because I got to answer some questions. So there is my graph. All right, so if the driver's shift starts at 7 a.m., what time are they starting to make their deliveries? Well, let's look at let's see, make their deliveries. All right, so making their deliveries, I'm going to clean this chart up a little bit just because there's too much writing on it. So make their deliveries. Make their deliveries, let's see, that is, let me highlight here, make their deliveries, that is task D and task E. All right, so task D, task E. So let's see, let's go ahead and do some EST, early start time. So A, B, and C both have 0. Let's see, that's 60 minutes, E is 60 minutes. All right. So if they start, let's see, that is 60 minutes past 7 a.m. So that means the answer would be 8 o'clock. Now, what time is the in-town drivers reloading their trucks, which is task F? All right, well, let's see, task F, let's see, is right there. That's 135 minutes plus 195. Let's see, I believe that's 195 minutes. So let's see if I can type this out. So what time? Let's see. 195 minutes equals, I believe that's 3 hours and 15 minutes. All right. Now, if the whole problem started at 7 o'clock, the answer would be, that's an arrow, 10:15 a.m. because that's 3 hours and 15 minutes after the fact. What time is quitting time for the drivers? Let's see. Quitting time would be the finish. All right. So quitting time would be all the way to, not what I wanted, the finish, which is right here. So we got to find the minimum project time. All right. So let's just kind of work through it here. So 195, let's see, 60, that's 195, 40, I believe that's 135 for G. And so let's see, 135 D, I believe H is going to be a 360. I is going to be a 380. Fin, let's see, that's going to be a 390. All right. All right, so what time is quitting drive for the drivers? Let's see. Let's see if we can figure this out here. All right, so again, quitting time for the drivers is 390 minutes. All right, and that equals, let's see, I believe that's 6 hours and, I don't know why I put that in, 30 minutes. So again, if the problem started at 7 a.m., the final answer would be, let's see, I'm looking at my clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe that's going to be 1:30 p.m. All right, so what is a critical path? All right, so let's highlight here. I'm going to do this in let's see, highlight, we'll just do yellow. All right, so there we go, there we go, there we go. Notice that we have a tie here. It's okay. You can do a tie. All right, so let's see. E became through 60, through there, through there, through there, and then boom. All right. So you might be saying, wait a minute, Coach, well, we have a tie. What happened? Because it didn't split here. So if that's the case, you actually have two critical paths. The first critical path will be start to A to D to H to I to F. All right, so that's our first critical path. This is just one of those weird ones where there is start to A to D to H to I to fin. And then the other critical path, I'm going to do this way. Let's see if I can take the whole thing away. Oh, good. The other critical path was from start to B to D to H to I, all the way to fin. All right, so this is just one of those weird ones where you have two critical paths. I don't know if we'll ever see any more of these. B, D, H, I, and fin. There we go, two critical paths. And I believe that's everything. Thank you for hanging with me. It was a long video. I didn't think it was going to be this long, but it was. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.